Good morning. My name is Letitia, and I'm here to talk about the transformation of the Scorpio. I was in meditation this morning and I was really thinking about what it means for us, people who have our personal planets in the sign of Scorpio. I have a Scorpio moon. I also have my North Node in the 8th house. And so I understand quite well the Scorpion energy. I'm understanding it more now than ever before. I understand, the pain that is associated with the Scorpio, but it is our ultimate goal to transform. And that is the soul contract that we signed when we came here. So that we can transform. This is for all signs. We signed a soul contract to come here and complete our assignment in this particular incarnation. And so with that, understanding the Scorpio, how it operates, what it's looking for, and what it needs in order to be able to go through the transformation is so important. So it's said when you study the sign of Scorpio, you understand that it is a sign that is associated with shedding of the snake skin, associated with transformation. But we choose to transform or not. We really do. And if we don't transform this time, then the next incarnation, maybe then. But as you study the animals, as the shamans do, those who practice earth magic, study the animals and understand the lessons that the animals have to teach us. If we look to Scorpio, then we can understand how we need to transform, what it looks like and what it means. So the Scorpion, I have some cards here. This is from the Animal Spirit deck. So the Scorpion is depicted by the author of this deck as a sign that is under the influence of fire. Scorpio is a water sign, of course. And so the question is, why is it depicted as fire? What is the history behind it? And what is it doing? So the scorpion, the animal, the scorpion, climbed out of the water millennia ago. And through the evolution of time, the body structure and the nature of it has stayed the same. And that's very interesting because the Scorpio is a fixed sign, and this animal has been fixed in its nature for millennia. So out of the water it crawled. It has the hard shell on it, and it has the pincers, and it has the infamous stinger that is filled with venom. So anyone who has those personal planets in the sign of Scorpio, you know about that stinger. And the people who you come in contact with, they know about that stinger too. The venom that is associated with the scorpion, the words that they can say, can be so poisonous, can be so toxic that they can cut to the quick. And the scorpion is about getting revenge. The scorpion crawls on the ground. It has receptors beneath its body that enables it to feel what is going on in its environment. If it is someone is coming behind it, if another animal is coming behind it, or the Scorpio, if another person is coming behind it, it can read what is going on in the environment. But the reactions of the Scorpio and the Scorpion are based out of fear. It's moving out of fear. Even its intuition that it has is based out of fear of being annihilated, of being attacked. And so you have a fierce hunter in the Scorpion. And the Scorpio traditionally is ruled by the sign of Mars. And Mars is a warrior. And so because this is a water sign, that Martian warrior energy is introverted. Where in the sign of Aries, it is very outward in its movement, moves quick, makes hasty decisions, it's fire, moving forward. But in this, with the Scorpion, with the Scorpio, the movements are stealth. It's making a plan, very strategic in how it moves, but it is moving for its own protection. It's moving so that it can eat, so that it can accomplish what it needs to accomplish, but it is in safety. So people that get too close, they see them as a threat, and they might get the stinger, and they might get that part that pulls back, when they don't feel safe. It takes time for the Scorpio, to feel safe around someone else. And the Scorpio is one sign, of course, that is not to be trifled with. Moving out of fear, you can get stung by the stinger. But the question is, do we want to stay there as Scorpios? Do we want to stay there? Do we want to stay in the place where we are always moving in fear? Because where fear is, love cannot be. The two cannot be in the same place. And so we understand through ancient scripture that perfect love casts out fear. So in order to transform like the Scorpio is intended to do and has the power to do, fear has to be put to the side. And that is our real challenge, to put fear aside, still keep that Martian fire, our ability to move strategically and with power and with authority, but without fear. So the ancients in Egypt depicted the first transformation of the Scorpio into the sign of the phoenix. So the phoenix is the firebird. So through this transformation, the Scorpio, begins to realize that the way that it has been living, it just brings this cycle, the cycle of destruction, the cycle of ill understandings. Because as within, so without. As above, so below. So if you are operating in fear of being hurt, then what do? You attract people to you who have that same fear. So where you are having the goal to have these good and wonderful relationships, it requires a releasing, it requires a letting go, which is the greatest challenge of the Scorpio, is to let go of fear and to embrace love. So with our firebird, it is the Scorpion that burns itself up in a sacrifice, in faith, in trust, that letting go and leaving that the mindset of vengeance and low crawling and hiding in corners and in stealth mode, looking at other people, finding the dark in them, which you can see the dark. You can see it. That's a natural gift of the Scorpio. You can see the dark in other people. But what would happen if we were to focus on the light? What would happen if we were giving of ourselves in an effort to transform from the lower place, the lower ways of thinking and being, so that we can draw more light and true love to ourselves? What would happen if we did that? So the phoenix, it burns itself to ashes and is reborn. Is reborn, able to fly, no longer bottom crawling, no longer hiding in corners, but with fire, the fire of Mars, able to move out, able to greet people, able to bring in more light, able to fly with the wings of fire and go and accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. Still more transformation needed. Still more transformation needed. Because that Scorpion energy is able to tap into the occult arena, into the hidden things, into the into the secrets of the law of attraction that would help that Scorpion energy manifest the things that it wants. When it's manifesting people that are betraying it, and people that are lying, and people that are sneaking around and doing all manner of darkness to them, it is because that's what's inside. That's the fear that is inside. So that fear is drawing that very thing to you that you don't want. When you're looking at people with the side eye, they're looking back at you with the side eye, because that's the energy that you are bringing. So it is in this trust of the universe. Trust of the universe. It's absolute faith and trust of the universe that the transformation happens yet again. And the transformation is to that of the eagle. And this particular card is from the shamanic oracle deck, mystical shamanic oracle deck. And here's the eagle, flying high, flying above, moving with power. Oh, this is the one from the animal spirit deck. That's not the one I wanted to show. Here's the one from that's from the shamanic oracle deck. I love that one. I love the other one too. But this one just shows so much, the spans of the eagle, the talons. And this eagle is flying from the east. This is how she explains it in her book. Has his back to the sun, moving forward, new beginning with power and understanding and faith. No longer bottom crawling, no longer bottom feeding, but moving forward in power with wisdom that has come from the transformation. Does it mean that the eagle is no longer hurt? Does it mean that deceptive people no longer come along? No, it doesn't mean that. But what it means is that the eagle is wise enough to understand karma. The eagle is wise enough to understand that everything that you put out is coming back to you. It's looping around in a boomerang fashion. So the eagle operates with wisdom and grace in the light of day, out of the darkness into the light, moving out with a desire to teach others, to share the wisdom, to use his words carefully, understanding how powerful they are, understanding that their words with that Scorpio power can build someone or it can tear them down. So the eagle has a wingspan that is 3 times the size of his body. It is able to see hundreds of feet below it, mark its target, use its talons, and go down and grab it. And that's the power that you have within you, Scorpio, to do just that. If you would take the challenge, learn to trust in the universe, trust in your higher self. To thy higher self be true. Move out, accomplish your goal, build others at the very top, out in the light of day, unafraid, in power and in truth, telling the truth, living the truth, bravely and boldly. My name is Letitia. Thank you so much for listening.